Level 1. You step into darkness like it's an old roommate. Gloves on, mask down, breath shallow. You know the plan. You learned it by heart. You checked the route twice. You watch the blueprints bloom like a map in your skull. This is not supposed to be improvisation. Not tonight. A guard's laugh echoes in your memory. You press the laser to the corner of the vault door. The light trembles. You count. 1, 2, 3. The tumblers sigh. A door clicks open, a voice in your ear, and calm, clipped. Give me the bag. You move. You sweep the crate, hand steady. A screen flicks. The timer on your watch flashes red. You didn't program a timer. You hadn't planned for red. Your heart picks up tempo. You keep working because moving feels safer than thinking. A camera swivels, slow, like a head turning toward you. It blinks. Then silence. Too quiet. Too clean. You should have heard the laugh again. You are still in the room when the world outside changes. The exit seals. Under your feet the floor hums. The ventilation and sighs. An automated voice, foreign and neutral, declares lockdown. You freeze. Your fingers find the edge of the crate. You look up. Alarms remain asleep. You're awake. Your handler curses into his mic. Static. Cut. You're alone. And the heist just became a trap. Level 2. The corridor is a vein. You move through it like blood, fast and direct. You taste metallic fear. Every shadow is a hand. You press to a wall and listen. Footsteps. One set. Fast. You count them. 3. They are not yours. You slide behind a pillar and watch the guard pass. He walks like a man who believes everything is normal. You catch his reflection in a polished floor. You rehearse your face. Neutral. Unguarded. You step out and match his pace. He never glances. You are an echo. You make it to the stairwell. It groans under your weight. You pause. Your phone vibrates in your pocket. A message from an unknown number. Open the file. A picture blooms. Inside the vault. Not where you are. Someone is already there. They are moving with familiar hands. Your name tags them in your mind. Betrayal has a smell. It is bitter. Your throat closes. You feel the knot form behind your ribs. This isn't a simple double cross. It is meticulous. It is surgical. You were bait. You were the key. You were the alibi. You tell yourself that if you can reach the control room, you can override the lockdown. You can call for extraction. You can fix this. You step back into the corridor. Your breaths are gunshots. Every corner may hide a shooter, a camera, a phone line tapped and ready to nick you. You move like a ghost, low to the ground, silent. Everything hums. Everything listens. Level 3. The control room is a nest of screens and humming electronics. You slip inside like a whisper. The operator is gone. His chair barely warm. A mug still breathes steam into the air like a surrendered soldier. You think of turning the consoles on and scanning for incoming feeds. Instead, you check the door. Locked from the inside. You curse softly. You surrender to the obvious. You need to go up. There's a rooftop ladder you climb. Wind hits your face for the first time since you entered the building. It tastes like cigarette smoke and rain. You pull the hatch and freeze at the edge of the roof. An accomplice stands there. Your accomplice. Only this time, their eyes are not yours. The bag is already open at their feet. They look at you like an unfamiliar stranger. We can't go down, they say. Not yet. Your mouth goes dry. They step forward. You notice the slight tremor in their hands. Not from fear, from adrenaline, the kind that belongs to someone who has been doing something illegal for too long. You laugh, a sound that isn't funny. You ask the question that hurts the least. Who else? They name places. Names cascade like cards. You realize you know none of them. You feel the floor drop away. You keep asking questions because that is all you can do that feels like control. Answers are economy. They stall. You weigh your options like coins. Stay, and hope your contact returns with a rescue team. Risk being cornered. Run, and strip away any chance of getting proof. Surrender, and watch the network pick you apart. You choose to move. You slip down the rusted ladder and melt to the stairwell. Your feet find rhythm again. Every step is an altar to survival. Your phone buzzes. Another message. A picture of you taken from inside the building. They're watching everything. Level 4. Downstairs is a maze of access codes and forged IDs. You must improvise. You press a guard's pass against the reader. The screen blinks red. You try breath control. You find an open maintenance closet and slide inside. Shelves crowd you like silent witnesses. You pull forward a creased employee manual and flip to a page on emergency overrides. Knowledge is a weapon. You memorize a number. You dial using a dead terminal connected to the intranet. The line opens. Someone on the other end laughs. Not a laugh of camaraderie. It tastes like metal. You shouldn't be there, the voice says. You answer like you always wanted to, with the exact truth. I'm trying to get out. Silence then, faint, furious. You set this up to fail, they say. You shrug into the quiet. You've been underestimating the possibility you were expendable. They tell you where they are keeping the hostages. You move. You enter a hallway that smells like antiseptic and fear. Doors line both sides like teeth. You push into one and find a bank of cowering people. Some of them are strangers, some look like colleagues. They stare at you as if they need to decide whether you're friend or new danger. You tell them in short sentences what you need them to do. Move quietly, stay low, trust no one who promises rescue. You erect a small plan, a list of tasks so simple a child might do them. You assign people to distractions, to lookout, to the carrying of the evidence bag. You're not a leader by choice. You're a leader because the alternative is silence. You move them like chess pieces, one square at a time. Footsteps thunder. You hand one of them a radio. Your hand trembles, but only inside. You're not allowed to show fear. Not now. They take a breath and nod. You count down. You need 3 minutes. You need 3 heartbeats of luck. Level 5. You walk into the main hall like a shadow with a plan. Cameras lock onto you. Lights blaze. You're the center of attention, and you want to vanish. People scream. A figure steps into view who you've been dreading. The inside man. He smiles the sort of smile that means calculations were right. We never intended to hurt anyone, he says. You listen. Words are cheap. Timing costs more. He tells you the cameras were looped. He tells you the vault had an auxiliary access. He tells you the contingency you'd unknowingly triggered was for both of you. Everything is delivered like a confession. You're supposed to be shocked. Instead, you are tallied. You make a choice that will define the night. You run toward the crowd. You shout. You push. You pull a fire alarm. Chaos is the currency of escape. People scatter like startled birds. The man freezes. His signal chokes. You use the moment. You slip behind the altar of confusion and then into a maintenance duct. It smells like rust and leftover coffee. You crawl. Every inch is victory and misery. You press onward because turning back means capture. A camera catches you in the duct. Your image is crude squares and noise. You see yourself and you hate how small you look, but the feed is enough. It buys the hostages a pause. It buys you a corridor. You burst out into the alley with a bag of evidence strapped to your chest. You are breathless. You are alive. A vehicle idles. A silhouette hands you a flashlight. You don't ask questions. You don't let fresh gratitude slow you down. You dive into the back seat and demand the engine. The driver does not ask why. He leaves like a ghost without a name. Level 6. You're not safe yet. You watch the city slide past the window in a blur of fluorescent pain. Headlights slice at your face. Sirens somewhere flail like wounded birds. You try to call your handler. No answer. You call your contact, disconnected. You run your fingers through your hair and taste the metal of adrenaline. You think about what you must do with the evidence. You could sell it. You could hand it over to someone who promised justice. You could bury it and then bury the memory. You think of the eyes you saw in the hostages. Trust them with truth. You stop the car at a diner under a blown neon sign. You hand the bag to the person who looks least like a criminal. They weigh the envelope and look up. We can make them pay, they say. You don't know what "we" means anymore. You hand them your phone. You tell them the names. You tell them the timeline. You tell them everything you know. Your throat is raw. You feel the story unspool. A reporter arrives the next morning. Headlines bite the headlines. Pictures of you on the roof. The inside man arrested. You watch the feed from a distance. You are a frame in a dozen feeds. You learn later that not everything was recovered. Some of the money vanished like a rumor. Some of the names never saw the key to the courtroom. But the worst secret, that you were expendable, becomes public. People call you brave. People call you foolish. You listen and imagine a ledger, a scale with faces on one side and coins on the other. You can never balance it. Epilogue. Nights after you hear the clink of keys, you wake to your phone pinging with strangers' messages. You stop sleeping like the world might rewrite you when your eyes close. Sometimes you hate the hero people make of you. Sometimes you hate the coward. Mostly you wish you had never walked into that building, but you did. You walked in with purpose and left with proof. You kept something alive, truth. It is messy and incomplete. It is yours. You learn to live with the sound of helicopters overhead. You learn to expect the unexpected. You learn that being trapped can teach you how to move. You learn that betrayal can sharpen a sense of where the exits are. You learn that sometimes survival is not the same as victory. You learn to tell the story in short sentences. You teach it to anyone who will listen. You watch their faces. Some are kind, some are skeptical. You don't need them to understand. You only need them to know you did not surrender. In a world where plans fail and people fold, you kept going. You kept moving. You escaped. And that's a start.